Well, let's help you with a few tips on leading this session about being a loving community. And you will see that there's some real engagement around this. I think you'll love leading this particular session, but we wanted to give you a few guidelines and tips. First of all, we're going to spend a lot more time in the Bible itself. Actually, Steve and I are going to kind of step into your group with your permission and sort of lead for a few minutes, kind of a Bible study time. We're going to read through the passage, and Steve's going to be doing that primarily and pulling things out from it.
Yeah, and just want to encourage you that as we go through this, we're going to set everything up for you. So it'll lead into some great discussion, but just, follow along and just hang with us because we got an intentional pathway we're going.
Yeah, and you might have some folks in the group who've done a lot of personal study. And we're not going to walk through this real systematically. So if someone starts to go down that path or think that we're not covering it all, you'll see that we're just going to pull some themes from it, look at some things that jump out to us personally. So just if you have to deal with that at all, just let folks know in the context of your conversation that it wasn't intended here to do an exposition of every aspect of every verse here, but just to read through it, let it sink into people, and engage that truth.
Another thing we're going to be able to do is when we're going to go from the Bible passage, we're going to go into some case studies. Now, these case studies are going to have 3 different case studies, and there's no real right or wrong answer. It's designed just to get the group to talk. Now, you as the leader are going to need to pay special attention to this because you want everybody to be able to share their views. Now, when you're doing a case study, some people are going to go on a tangent. You wouldn't. But just let that play out. Let there be a little tension. Let there be some discussion. Let there be a little give and go. And you got 20 minutes, so you got plenty of time.
The key thing, I think, as a leader there is not to imply that one particular answer is right. As Steve said, sometimes we find ourselves saying, oh, that's really good, when someone else would respond totally differently to that case. And it might be the right thing to say. So create an environment of discussion and learning from one another and realizing that there really are different views on this. For example, one that you'll see that we're going to work through is someone who's coming in late, kind of breaking a curfew deal. And some parents would be real hard on that kid maybe because they've been straying and they want to lay down some guidelines and think that's the loving thing to do. And others would be more loose with that and say, oh, it's not that big a deal until it becomes a really long-term pattern. But whatever the deal is, it's not trying to prove who's right and who's wrong. It's trying to create an environment where we keep asking the question, and this is where they'll need your guidance. Are you looking at this from an attitude of love? What's the loving thing to do?
Yeah, and it's going to be common that the dominant person in the group is going to want to be right.
Yeah.
And this is where you just need to step in and say, we've heard your opinion. And
thanks for sharing that.
Thanks for sharing that. But, we want to hear from some other people because still waters run deep.
Yeah,
so
that's good.
Be able just to pull out as the leader saying, hey, okay, we heard from you, and let's hear from some others.
And we maybe mentioned this before. The first job of a leader is name reality, and it's okay to pause along the way and say, wow, we have some very different views here. You feel strongly this way. You feel strongly that way. Isn't that exciting that each of us brings our own experience and all to this? And we're not all going to agree. But part of becoming the community is that we all are motivated out of love, and we want to tap into that motivation. Help each person center on an area of love during the discussion time around that they want prayer for, they want to talk about, they want encouragement with. You'll see that exercise is focused on whether it's love God, love self, love others, etc. We really want to give people the opportunity, again, to sort of dig in there, and that may be a little vulnerable for some folks.
Yeah, and again, we're trying to let the group be able to express themselves. So again, it's going to be okay. People are going to have some opportunities to share. So just use this. We're giving you plenty of space on your discussion time for group members to be able to go through, unpack a little bit more. So
we'll do the same with the prayer time. We're actually going to structure a prayer time with you that allows the group to either subgroup if you want, in groups of 2 or 3, and do this. Or do it as a whole group, but it's key that they focus on loving God, loving self, loving others, and the world we're including in that. But we want people to spend time on each, so we're giving you extra time, and you'll see that in the session that we actually do for your group, that we tell them, hey, take the time, dive in, pray together, and look at each of these areas, because we really want to take this theme that's really been around for several sessions of God, self, and others. We used it in the last session. We want to really build that into people's hearts.
And just as the leader, use it as an opportunity to always refer people. We set up the devotional so people could have some quiet time, be able to reflect on God's Word, to reflect on where they're at on each one of these themes that we're going through. So, just a gentle reminder, pull them through, and be a great opportunity before you start the group. You may be able to say, here's what God said to me in my devotional. So you may find out from people what happened during the week. And also, just keep on trying to push your group a little bit to say, hey, break out and meet between group times and have coffee, you know, have lunch, have people over, you know. Feel free just to break the ice, and you do that and just find out what has the group done from the last session.
Hope those tips will help you, and we'll see you next time when we do our final session.
All right.